And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Groves. Now, Groves is a game in which at the beginning of the kingdom's dying, a tree is dying, and trees are dying, and so you're getting fairies together and rebuilding the forests and stuff like that. This is what we call a bag building game or pool building game, in which you're going to be putting things into a bag in this game and then pulling them out and doing different actions depending on what you pull out of the bag. I really tend to like these sort of games, and this game attracted me because just how beautiful the whole thing looks. Let's take a look. Each player is going to start with their own realm, and each realm is one of the different seasons you can see here. The boards are actually double-sided. They're the same thing on both sides, but this side has it shows you what all the different symbols mean, so you don't have to look up a card or anything. In your realm, you have 3 groves that are already there, and the groves that you have are going to determine what's in your starting bag. So you're going to have different fairies. Everyone's going to start with 8 of the white fairies, and then you'll start with 1 of the color that matches your realm. So if this is me, I'm going to take the green one. So you're going to throw all these into your bag. You're also going to start with some crystals based on turn order and some elements. You have light, earth, and water elements, and you'll start with 2 of each of those. One person is first, they get this crown, and then you start. At the beginning of each round, everyone is always going to pull 3 fairies from their bag. 3 white, what a surprise. Then, in turn order, you're going to take turns placing these fairies down in different areas. You can place them here, or you can place them on the tree of Adele. Now, when you place them on the tree here, there can be any number of fairies placed here, but the wraiths, the black spirits, they can't be placed in these 3 spots. What do these 3 spots do? Well, here you can buy a new grove. There's 4 groves in the positions. The cost of the grove is crystals. These crystals are paid to the person who has the crown. The crown player gets that money, and because of that, the crown player on the very first turn of the game cannot go here. They have to go somewhere else. But after that, if the crown person buys a grove, they just pay the bank. Crystals. So when you buy one of these, you'll just place it in front of you like this, and it gives you another spot to put things. It costs these crystals here, plus the different elements that it shows at the top. At the end of the game, these are going to be worth points. You're trying to get the most points to win this game. Like I said, when you put these in here, they give you more spots and more places to put your fairies. You can also go here where you draw a couple cards, and you're going to decide to keep one of these cards. And if you ever pull that combination, so this shows a green and a blue, if I ever pull a green and a blue of the 3 that I pull from my bag, then I can immediately say I've done it, score this card, and it's worth a point at the end of the game. And if you go here, you can start building a portal between you and one of the 2 people next to you. First you build the base, and then if you go here again, you build the top, and it makes a portal. The portal means that from now on, first of all, it's a point for you building a portal, but from now on you can go to their grove with your fairies and drop them there. Also, when you build a portal, you'll be taking one of these wraiths and throwing it into the bag. A wraith is essentially a wild one, but a wraith, when placed into an area, it can't be removed. You don't pull it off, but you can, on your turn, put a white one down where a wraith is, and then you put it in your bag, even if it's not yours, or if you can get to someone else's area by building a portal. So speaking of these areas here on the board, when you put a fairy in one of these, you're going to get the reward. So here I'll get 2 crystals. Here I get an element of my choice. Here I can put a fairy of my choice into my bag, or 2 white fairies into my bag. Now, if a grove has something else, and you play that color, you'll also get that reward. So if I play a white fairy here, I'm just going to get an element of my choice. If I play a yellow fairy, I'm going to get an element of my choice and a crystal. And you can see that, like for example here, if I play a blue fairy, I'll get to put a brown fairy, an autumn fairy into the bag. If I play a green, I'm putting 2 into the bag. Some of these things eventually will give you points. Like this one here. I can pay a coin, pay a crystal, discard a random spirit from my bag to get a point token. And there are point tokens that you can get, and these are going to be how you win the game. Getting these, building groves, and accomplishing these, pulling the right things out. And if you accomplish these, there's going to be some random cards placed on the side of the board. So like here at the end of the game, whoever has the most orange spirits gets 2, whoever has the most groves gets 2, and the first person to get a set of 4 different groves in their area is going to get 2 bonus points, and these will change from game to game. You're going to keep going through this game. If no one buys these, one of them is discarded, and these will be replaced at the end of each round. And the number of tiles here is going to change based on number of players and will lengthen or shorten the game. At the end of the game, you'll add up your points. At the end of each round, all the fairies that you've played here on the tree get discarded here. Any fairies that were placed on your tree in your area, whether they were from you or from another player, from a portal, go back in your bag, except for the black ones. They stay there. They can only be displaced by a white fairy. And you continue. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, these boards are gorgeous. I mean, every game I've played with these symbols here because, I mean, they're pretty easy symbols. I just like having a quick reference in case I forget. But without them, I mean, wow, they just look really good. And adding these groves to them, the different groves have different artwork on them, showing different regions. It just looks really cool. And the symbology is not that difficult. My only complaint about the symbology are these. These are the earth ones, which are, I'm sorry, that's a light, which is the brown token. And that doesn't quite match the picture. I kept looking for green tokens and they're just not out here. That's not a big deal. That would be my only complaint. Other than that, the board, the fairies are different colors, but they also have different, backgrounds and things on them to make them easy to tell apart. These are really tiny, these elemental things, but they're better than cubes, that's for sure. And the crystals look good. The whole thing just has a really nice feel and look to it. Now, there's a lot of these games out there, and a bag building game is similar to a deck building game. The way a deck building game works is you have a deck that you build over the course of the game, and your cards usually go into your discard pile. When you're done, you shuffle that discard pile, and it becomes your deck. A bag building game is different than that because you're throwing things into a bag, so it's kind of like when you get a new card, it can be thrown right into the middle of your deck, and that's a kind of a difficult thing to do properly. A bag building game lets me drop something in and maybe pull it out. Now, the difficulties of that are that you could pull something out, keep pulling and never get the thing out of the bag that you want that's in there. And this happened to me sometimes. I was looking for a specific color, and I kept pulling the ones I didn't want. That's okay, though. The concept of this game, pulling them and then only getting the ones back that you place in your trees, is a really intriguing idea. So there's a couple facets of that I want to explore. First of all are those victory point cards for pulling a certain combination from the bag. I didn't like those. I still don't like those. They feel random. Sure, you can pick, you draw 2 cards, you're like, I don't have any blue. There's blue on both these cards. So do I buy a blue now just so I can draw it from the bag to appease this card? It just felt like that was a really lucky aspect of the game. The putting them down in your tree, though, this is an intriguing idea, right? Because I'm putting some out in the middle. You have to put some out in that tree of Adele. You've got to buy more groves. You definitely want to maybe build portals so you can get into your opponent's groves because they might be, they might have places that you want to do things. And your opponents are building portals to come in your grove. And so you're going to be having some stuff that's going away from you and some stuff that's coming into your bag. And your opponent might come in and use one of your grove with a color. And you're like, ooh, now that's mine. And that's kind of interesting. I might buy a color just so I can go through the portal and go use one of your groves. And then when I do that, that's fine. And now you get that in your bag and it will help you again use your own grove. And I also notice the colors have some differentiation between them. For example, the things that often let you score points were blue. We noticed that. I don't know that the groves were ever that exciting. Remember I said at the beginning and when I was going to the overview how it was neat that all the icons are there, and I really like that. I can instantly tell what to do. But this game never felt exciting. It's interesting and intriguing, but not exciting. I never felt like I pulled off a really cool deal. And I think there's a few flaws possibly in a bigger game. If you play with 4 players, and one player has nobody build portals, or maybe just one person build a portal, they don't really have outside competition. So they can sit there and they can build on their own thing and build a little engine up. And you can sit there and go, you really need to kind of get into their area and use some of their stuff. And that person might have a leg up on everyone else. And I don't know, I don't think you should be forced to build a portal, but that was a little problematic, we found. But this getting a little engine going, you can get these little engines going, but they never feel completely satisfying. And you're really literally just pulling one of 6 different tiles from the bag over and over and over again, and they don't really differentiate between them, except that on certain spaces, they'll give you an extra bonus. And that's good, it's just that the game is really simple. A lot simpler than I thought, and there's not a lot of points in the game, so you really have to buy groves, and you have to use groves that give you victory points. If not, you're not going to do very well, because those are the main ways of getting victory points over the course of the game. I enjoyed it. It was a pleasant game, but it didn't feel me like, wow, I want more, and I think that's where the problem comes in. It's a beautiful thing, and you might say, well, this is a good gateway type game to get people into these. Maybe, but there's so many pieces and so much going on that I'm not sure that that's the best thing to do with this sort of game, is to use it in a gateway fashion of that sort. So it's interesting. I like the idea of this game, but overall it fell a little short. So good, but I think it could have been better. But the idea in this, where you play stuff on your own board, it comes back and you send it out to other boards and it goes to them, that's cool. And maybe that concept will be more fully realized as time goes by. Dice Tower Judgment, unique and interesting.